What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bullshot Darts. So the CDC hosted their first weekend of events just this last weekend down in Tampa. So I just kind of want to talk about the results of that a little bit, talk about the tournament, and also talk about my experiences. I had two of my greatest darts achievements this last weekend, so I'm really excited about that. And I just want to talk about, well, just my experiences in general, just about the tournament and how things went. But first, guys, if you're new, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop this video a thumbs up, and also follow Bullshot Darts on Facebook and Instagram. I'm trying so hard to grow the sport of darts, guys. All the support I get on Bullshot Darts is extremely helpful in doing that. So every subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff helps. So thank you so much, guys. So before I get into anything, I want to give a big thank you to the CDC and everybody that was involved in making this tournament happen. Us as players, we're spoiled. All we have to do is show up and play darts. Without the people behind the scenes, we don't have these big tournaments and this, this stuff to look forward to and everything. So thank you so much to the CDC for, putting the show on, the hotel, all the staff at the hotel that helped. And I know that there was also people that helped tear up and take down boards. Just everybody that was involved in making this tournament happen. Thank you so much. Next, I want to bring up Timmy Nichols. So Timmy Nichols is a darts legend here in the United States, and he's been around for a very long time. He was recently diagnosed with cancer, but Timmy Nichols, being the badass that he is still out there shooting darts and, just being an awesome human being. So the CDC presented him with a Lifetime Achievement Award. They did this at the beginning of the third day, and it was an emotional presentation. Timmy Nichols said some words, and it was just a really awesome thing. Definitely, one of the highlights of the weekend because, Timmy Nichols is awesome. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I've been around him plenty of times and just seen that he's a really good guy, nice guy, and, he loves darts, and he's still out there playing darts. So, the Lifetime Achievement Award was really awesome. I was happy that they did that, and I was able to see that. So next, let's get into the results. I guess there's not many results to talk about because Danny Lauby absolutely dominated this weekend. There were 3 events, and he made the finals in all 3 events. He won 2 of them, and he lost the 3rd one. So the first day, it was Danny Lauby versus Leonard Gates, and Lauby came out on top. The day 2, it was Danny Lauby versus Gary Mawson, and that's always an exciting match. That was a rematch of the 2019 Continental Cup. And Gary Mawson is just one of those guys, is that when he turns it on, he is really good. I mean, I know, and that goes for a lot of dart players and stuff, but I mean, Gary Mawson's been around a while and has won a lot of big stuff. So getting that win over Mawson again was huge. And then day 3 was a rematch of day 1. We had Danny Lauby versus Leonard Gates again, and Leonard Gates got the best of Lauby this weekend, or that day, that event. So overall, of course, Danny Lauby had the most dominating performance of the weekend, and then behind him would be Leonard Gates. He made the finals 2 of the times and split with Danny. So the thing with these events is that just making the finals is a pretty big deal, and Danny managed to make the finals all 3 events. And then to win an event is even a bigger deal, and Danny managed to win 2 of the 3 that he was in the finals. So Danny Lauby is catching fire right now, and it's so exciting because now with everything opening back up, that means he's going to be able to get out and play more, and his darts are just going to get that much better. And he had that recent big contract with Target. So Danny's just turning it up at the right time. He played Jules Van Dongen in Florida, I believe, and it was them 2 in the finals of the Pro 501 event. So we got back-to-back Jules versus Danny down there, and Jules, no shame in losing to Jules. I mean, Jules is one of the best in the continent too, but Jules got the best of him in both of those matches. I think that really lit a fire under Danny because, boy, he came out swinging at these CDC events. I think he had 2, maybe 3 averages in the hundreds and plenty of more in the 90s. So I'm sure, you know, it always sucks to lose, so, you know, losing to Jules in those events, I'm sure sucked. But I think that's what really lit a fire under Danny to come out swinging. Because, I mean, winning 2 of these events and making the finals and everything is, I mean, just huge for Danny. And I'm excited to see what happens next time he goes overseas, because we've seen him on the PDC stage, but he wasn't throwing Danny Lauby darts. And I think that came down to just the inexperience on the big stage. So once he gets more comfortable on that stage, has more matches up there, he's only going to get better on that stage. And now with the United States really picking up its game, he's going to have a lot more bigger stages here to get used to playing on as well. Or not as well as, but he'll get a lot more practice on bigger stages here, which will also help his performances next time he's at the PDC. So really excited to see what is in the future for him, and especially to see what happens over in Philly in September. All right, so that's pretty much the results of the weekend. Danny Lauby shot awesome. Leonard Gates shot awesome. I mean, a lot of people shot awesome, but you know, those are just the 2 standouts. Next, I just kind of want to talk about, you know, my performances, my matches, and just talk about these people I met. Like, I want to give some big shout outs to some people, but I'll get into that stuff in a second. Just a quick little overview of my weekend. Going into this weekend, I was throwing the best darts of my life. So I was just throwing, well, just that, the best darts I've ever thrown. So I was feeling really good and really comfortable, and all weekend I felt really good and really comfortable. My biggest downfall came down to my doubles, and like I said, I'll get there in a second, but I felt like my scoring was pretty much always there, but it was my doubles that failed me at times. The one match I was hitting my doubles very well. I averaged in the 90s. If I was hitting my doubles like that the whole tournament, I think I could have had an average, you know, in the upper 80s for the whole weekend. But felt good, can't be mad, met a bunch of new people, so I'm excited about that. My biggest takeaway from the weekend is that I just have this feeling like I do belong here now. Because, well, I mean, I'm still new, but you know, last couple times I played in CDC events as qualifiers, like I just choked, and sometimes I just had this problem of choking in like these bigger tournaments. And you know, I definitely choked at times, but I felt so good, and when my darts were on, they were on. So I just have this, you know, inner peace of knowing like I don't feel out of place here. Like I feel like I belong with the people I'm shooting darts with. So that's my biggest takeaway for the weekend. So let's get down into the details here. We're already 8 minutes into this video, so I'm not going to spend, well, I say that, but then I'm probably going to talk a lot. But so I start off my weekend against a young kid, Joey Lanaw, I believe is his name. I think he's 19 years old, I believe 19, because he played in the Evolution Tour. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Joey. This was the match where I threw a 94 average, which is my best competitive average I've thrown. So in the beginning of the video, I said my 2 greatest darts accomplishments. That's one of them, my highest average. And I credit that to him because he was shooting so good. Like, I knew I couldn't miss a dart. Yes, I lost other matches and stuff, but I think that was my toughest match. Just knowing that he was on my tail every single leg. If I was going to miss a double, I knew I was screwed. And I just brought out the best of my darts. And he's really young, and he shot amazing all weekend. I think he won 2 of the Evolution events. So big shout out to Joey. And also, just on the topic of younger players, there was this other guy there, Seth Stefano. And I believe he's like 19 or 22. I'm not too sure. But he was also in the Evolution events, and I believe he oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. He won one of the events, so Joey took 2, Seth took 1. And just another shot that really young and amazing. I believe he shot in the 80s like all weekend and took out some really big names. And he was a qualifier, so, you know, that's events that he was playing the Evolution Tour, the qualifiers, and the main event. So he was getting in a lot of darts and just an absolutely phenomenal shot. So once Bullshot gets growing, like, I really want to focus on the future of the sport. And Joey and Seth are young guys that I think, you know, they're already top players now. Give it 5 years, 10 years, when they're like 30, they're still going to be really, really young, but their skill level's going to be absolutely insane. So it's players like that that once Bullshot starts growing, like I definitely want to focus on sponsoring those types of players. So once Bullshot picks up, hopefully I can get those guys on my team, or, you know, part of Bullshot, or I don't know, something. So yeah, shot a 94 average. I ended up winning the match with a 140 out. So I don't know, it was just a crazy match. He was shooting lights out, I was shooting well. You know, thankfully I just hit some doubles. He missed some doubles, and that kept the door open for me on some legs. And yeah. So that was my first match. Next match went on to my second best, you know, darts moment of my life. And so I really started the weekend hot. It went all downhill from here, but I ended up playing Larry Butler in my next match. And those of you that don't know, and if you don't know, well, you need to learn. Larry Butler is the biggest American darts legend, the only American to win a world title. And I've actually got to hang out with Larry a few times the last like month or so, because he was in town, so he was at a couple dart tournaments. But still, being able to play him and everything is always a huge honor. And I was actually up on him 4-1, and the inexperience of myself and the experience of Larry really kicked in, because in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm up 4-1 on Larry Butler. Like, I could potentially beat him 5-1. And that kind of overtook my thought process, whereas Larry is just like, this ain't my first rodeo, I've been here. And he kicked it up a notch, and he ended up winning 2 more legs. But I started sweating quite a bit, because I was like, I cannot blow this. Like, I just need 1 more leg, just calm down and get the win. And the one leg that I did end up winning on, he missed double. So just a crazy match. The fact I was able to squeak by him is it just feels good. I don't know. It's not often in any other sport where you get to play against legends of the sport and people that you look up to. You know, if you're a football player, you're not going to be able to just meet Tom Brady every time you go out and play football. So that's one thing cool about darts, is that your idols and everything are just at the tournament. So beating Larry Butler was an incredible moment for me, for, you know, just my darts journey. After that, I went on to play Alex Reyes. Like I said, guys, my weekend started really good, then went downhill, and this is where it started to really go downhill. I went from a 94 average in my first match to an 82, I think. And then this one, I went all the way down to a 72, and it all came down to doubles again. I lost 5-1, but the first 3 legs, I got to a double first and blew it. You know, I could have been up 3-0, but instead I was down 3-0. So this is where the doubles really kicked in and started kicking my butt. But you know, no shame in losing to Alex Reyes. You know, he's a freaking phenomenal player. So it is what it is. He ended with the 68, I ended with the 72. So I had 4 more points than him in the average, but you know, that's kind of one of those weird situations where the average doesn't tell the story. I, you know, scored better. He hit the doubles better. So that was it. I got a top 16, so it was a good way to start the weekend. I was really happy about it. Obviously would have been happier if I could have hit some doubles in that Reyes match. And then day 2 started against Paul Achenbach, I believe is his name. Both of us shot bad. And no disrespect to Paul. You know, we talked about it after the game, that we were just like, wow, that was a gross match for both of us. I shot a 69, he shot a 61. If I could take any positive from this match, it's the fact that I did throw a 69, but I felt like I threw a 59. So it's always kind of good where you have a match and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm throwing so bad right now, but you still end up with, you know, a decent average. Not that 69 is decent, it's bad, but I felt like I threw way worse than that just based on how my darts were going. So the fact that I thought I threw so bad but still ended up with a 69, if I was going to take any positive away from that, then that's it. After that, I went on to play the nicest person I have ever met in darts, and that is Chuck Pulio. So I'm a Chuck Puleo fan. I forget what year it was. I think it was 2018 maybe, but I could not turn on my computer without seeing Chuck Puleo. He was winning everything, soft tip and steel tip. So like I seen him on there, seen his interviews. Obviously, you know, seems like an extremely nice guy. And I heard stories about him just being super nice. And now that I've met him and everything, like, I can't say enough good things about him. So it started, he brought me a cup of water. Like, so we were just warming up and I'm walking back. He's like pointing at a cup of water. And I was like, oh, like, is that yours or something? He's like, no, I got that for you. And I was like, wait, you got that water for me? And he's like, yeah, I got my 2 water cups here and I got you that one. Never have I ever had like another player, you know, get me something like, especially a player I don't even know. So that was that. The match was, it sucked. We've shot about the same. I think we were both in the low 80s, but Chuck was hitting some big doubles and I missed some doubles. But the thing is that he was getting a lot of doubles on his 3rd dart. So like, let's say he had 40 left, you know, he would hit like a 20 outside on the 10 and I'm sitting there back. I'm like, all right, just miss one more and I can, you know, have another shot at my out. And he would take it with the 3rd dart. I feel like that happened like 2 or 3 times. And when that happens, it can really be like a mental killer. Because in my mind, you know, I'm thinking like, all right, he missed the first one, 2 more. Misses, like, all right, if he can just miss with 1 more, I can steal this leg from him. And then he hits it. So it's like, you get a little bit of hope and then it brings you down. But I did feel like I did shoot decent against him. It was one of those matches. I felt comfortable. I felt good. Just some of the darts weren't there. So, you know, not really a match I can be mad at. But another thing about Chuck is that after the match, you know, like we were talking a little bit, and he just like gave me some words of advice after the match, which I thought was really cool. You know, there's some top tier players that don't give the newer players the light of day. So like if they lose to a new player, no respect. If they beat a new player, but the new player showed that they can play darts really well, still they won't show you any respect because I don't know if they feel threatened or what it is, but you know, there's just some players that are like that. It's unfortunate because that can really drive someone away from the game. But, you know, Chuck was extremely nice before the match. And then after the match, I think he noticed that, you know, I did have some talent. And he wanted to, you know, just share some words of advice, you know, coming from, I believe he's ranked number 2 in the order of merit. So, you know, he just wanted to hand down some advice to me. So, you know, that was really nice of Chuck. It was awesome to meet him, awesome to play against him. You know, I look forward to seeing him around, you know, at the other tournaments. So that was my end of day 2. And then day 3 started. They did the Timmy Nickel presentation early, which was really awesome. I've talked about that earlier. Oh my gosh, I'm at 18 minutes. This is a long video. But before that, Danny Lauby was walking by, and I had said congratulations to him the day before on his Friday night win. So when I saw him Sunday, you know, I was like, hey man, like, going for the sweep of the weekend, like, good luck, like a fist bump. And he stopped and he mentioned my YouTube, which I thought was really cool because I did make a video about him when he got his Target sponsorship. So he brought that up, and like, that's just so cool knowing that Danny Lauby has watched my YouTube videos. So I appreciate that a lot. And just really cool. So he was like, hey, like, you know, thanks for the kind words, and, you know, just kind of talked for a quick second. And same thing, you know, Danny's one of those top tier players, but he has such a good attitude, is so positive, just a really good ambassador for American darts. So that was really cool, you know, just talking to him for a quick minute. And then who did I play? I played and lost. Oh, I played Ryan Freary. I made the mistake of saying Fury, but he's like, no, it's with an R. Freary. And I actually played against him in an online league before. Another game where my doubles just really killed me. He shot great. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him. He shot an absolute great match of darts. But the first leg, I was at 16 after 12 darts. I think I went buck 40, 100, and then whatever to leave 16 after 12 darts. I proceeded to miss 11 darts at double. So the first leg, I'm at 16 after 12 darts, and I miss 11 darts at a double. He comes back and wins it. Next leg, you know, we're pretty neck and neck, but I came down to a 158 out. I went trip 18 to leave myself the bullseye. Then I wired the bullseye, and then he took out the out after that. And then from there, I was just mentally broken. I couldn't come back from it. And he was shooting lights out. Every time that I had a good round, he was following it with a better round. Every time I had a bad round, he was jumping on it and taking advantage of it. But my doubles did let me down. And that was definitely that. You know, I shot well though. I can't be too mad. I think I still shot in the 80s. We were both in the low 80s. So it's like low 80s will still win quite a bit. But, you know, he was shooting lights out. And this is what I was saying earlier. It's like it came down to my doubles. If I was hitting my doubles consistently all weekend, I feel like I could have ended with a tournament average of high 80s, somewhere around there. Because, oh, stupid. Because my scoring has just been unbelievable. If I'm just throwing at the trip 20, and I'm in the zone just throwing at the trip 20, not worrying about doubles, I'm throwing well into the 90s, maybe even touching the hundreds at some extended streaks. But man, I don't know what it is. It's just the doubles. I'm just too inconsistent with the doubles, and that's where big problems come in. You know, they always say triples for show, doubles for dough. But like I said, I do get on streaks where I am hitting the doubles, and then I'm thrown into the 90s. But then there's times where I can't hit anything and I'm in the 60s. So I don't know, guys. I don't know where I'm going with the rest of this, but awesome weekend. It was so cool meeting a bunch of people. Really excited, you know, to see now that darts is coming back. So now I can like meet these guys, get to know them. Because I always usually go to tournaments, you know, not knowing anybody. So it's just kind of like I show up, play, and leave. But now I'm starting to get the, you know, part of the community, saying hi to people. Just really cool. So, all right, guys. All right, let's see if I can end this one with a 180. Probably not now that I hyped this up. Yeah, and I hit a 5 with my first dart. I throw better when I'm talking and not paying attention. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is a long video. This is way longer than I wanted it to be, but if you guys stuck around, thank you so much. Make sure you drop this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below of who you're rooting for in the CDC. If you were there, share some stories down below how your weekend went. I think that's all there is to say, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for the support on Bullshot Darts. I will see you in the next one, and shoot well.